Okay, everybody. We're going to do Luke, I believe, 23. Yep. Luke 23. Okay. Hey, Jesus bless you all. And today's been such a good day, too. Then the whole multitude of them arose and led Jesus to Pilate, and they began to accuse him, saying, "We found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to pay taxes to Caesar, saying that he himself is Christ the King." Then Pilate asked him, saying, "Are you the King of the Jews?" Jesus answered him and said, "It is as you say." So Pilate said to the chief priests and the crowd, "I find no fault in this man." But they were more fierce, saying, "He stirs up the people, teaching throughout all Judea, beginning from Galilee to this place." When Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked if the man were a Galilean. And as soon as he knew that he belonged to Herod's jurisdiction, he sent Jesus to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at that time. Now when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceedingly glad, for he had desired for a long time to see him, because he had heard many things about Jesus, and hoped to see some miracle done by him. Then when he questioned him with many words, but Jesus answered him nothing. And the chief priests and scribes stood and vehemently accused Jesus. Then Herod with his men of war treated him with contempt and mocked him, arrayed him in a gorgeous robe, and sent him back to Pilate. That very day Pilate and Herod became friends with each other, for previously they had been at enmity with each other. Then Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people, said to them, "You have brought this man to me as one who misleads the people, and indeed, having examined him in your presence, I have found no fault in this man concerning those things which you accuse him. Neither did Herod, for I sent you back to him, and indeed nothing deserving of death has been done by him. I will therefore chastise him and release him, for it was necessary for him to release one of them at the feast." And they all cried out at once, saying, "Away with this man, and release to us Barabbas," who had been thrown into prison for a certain rebellion made in that city, and for murder. Pilate, therefore, wishing to release Jesus, again called out to them, but they shouted, saying, "Crucify him, crucify him." Then he said to them the third time, "Why, what evil has Jesus done? I have found no reason for death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go." But they were insistent, demanding with loud voices that Jesus be crucified, and the voices of these men and of the chief priests prevailed. So Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they requested, and he released to them the one they requested, who for rebellion and murder had been thrown into prison, but he delivered Jesus to their will. And the notations on this: Pilate had two motives in sending Jesus to Herod. First, he would be free from an unpleasant case. Second, his gesture of respect for Herod would mend a rift between them, possibly caused by Pilate's brutal treatment of some of Herod's subjects. Now as they led Jesus away, they laid hold of a certain man, Simon, a Cyrenian, Jesus, who was coming from the country, and on him they laid the cross that he might bear it after Jesus. And a great multitude of the people followed him, and women who also mourned and lamented Jesus. But Jesus, turning to them, said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For indeed the days are coming in which they will say, Blessed are the barren, women that never bore, and breasts which never nursed. Then they will begin to say, To the mountains fall on us, and to the hills cover us. For if they do these things in the green wood, what will be done in the dry? In the notations on this, Jesus does not renounce the sympathy of the mourning women, but suggests that their own sufferings were more worthy of their tears. The reference is to the terrible judgment soon to fall upon Jerusalem. Because people rejected Jesus, there would be the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Jesus quotes a proverb suggesting that if his own sufferings are so great, then the sufferings of the Jews will be even more intense. Because they'll be condemned, for having rejected Jesus as God incarnate. It'd be horrible for them than Jesus' own crucifixion and death, because Jesus conquers the grave and conquered all evil, and wins victory. Jesus has all the victory. But those who have rejected Jesus have no victory. They have no life. They will go to hell eternally. There were also 2 other criminals led with him to be put to death, and when they come to the place called Calvary, there they crucified Jesus and the criminals, one on the right and the other on the left. That Jesus said, Father Jehovah, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they divided his garments and cast lots. And the people stood looking on. But even the rulers with them sneered, saying, He saved others, let him save himself, if he is the Christ, the chosen of Father Jehovah. The soldiers also mocked him, coming and offering him sour wine, and saying, If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. And an inscription also was written over him in the letters of Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. This is the King of the Jews. Then one of the criminals who were hanged blasphemed Jesus, saying, If you are the Christ, save yourself and us. If you, Jesus, are the Christ, save yourself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, Do you not even fear Father Jehovah, seeing you are under the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds, but this man, Jesus, has done nothing wrong. Then he said to Jesus, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. He accepted Jesus as God incarnate. And Jesus said to him, Assuredly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. That man went straight to heaven with Jesus. Now it was about the 6th hour, and there was darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. Then the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was torn in two. And when Jesus had cried out with a loud voice, he said, Father Jehovah, into your hands I commit my spirit. Having said this, he breathed his last. So when the centurion saw what had happened, he glorified Father Jehovah, saying, Certainly this was a righteous man. And the whole crowd who came together to that sight, seeing what had been done, beat their breasts and returned. But all his acquaintances and the women who followed him from Galilee stood at a distance, watching these things. Now behold, there was a man named Joseph of Arimathea, a council member, a good and just man. He had not consented to their decision. Indeed, he was from Arimathea, city of the Jews, who himself was also waiting for the kingdom of Father Jehovah. This man went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then he took it down, wrapped it in linen, and laid it in a tomb that was hewn out of the rock, where no one had ever lay before. That day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drew near, and the women who had come with Jesus from Galilee, followed after, and they observed the tomb and how his body was laid. Then they returned and prepared spices and fragrant oils, and they rested on the Sabbath according to the commandment. And we're going to stop there so I can go into chapter 24. Jesus bless you all. Thank you all for listening. Jesus bless you all. Jesus bless you all.